Next up, we will approach versus. AI is exactly what it is. Standard is PvP against real players. All right, just gonna go to versus AI for the demonstration so far. On here, we're going from the other ship. Now this is your currently selected ship. All right, you use the right stick to look around. If you want to hide the UI, you can press the left trigger, and we get a gorgeous background with the waterfalls in port. This is where your ship goes after every battle or not. The only difference in the port is your attitude when you come back here. You can come back here from getting your ass whooped, or you can come back victorious. It's all up to you. You can right click or click the right thumbstick to zoom out or zoom in. You zoom in, you can kind of go over the ship, man, and look and take in all of the beautiful detail and all these modeled ships. I mean, it's not photorealistic, but it does the job. This is a war machine from the 1910s. I mean, even if you can look, if you look in the bridge, you can see the wheelhouse, you can see everything in there. You can even see the first aid kit in the background. There's no need for that, but I appreciate that. It's the little things, man. We can even go up to the lookout tower up top here, and we can see the binoculars up there that people use to watch out for enemy ships. All right. You can also see your everything, all the stats with these ships. You can see on the ship. Those guns, the name of those guns, these secondary guns right here. We see our flag we're flying. We see the auxiliary ships or the lifeboats. Got a crane right here. All of the anti-aircraft guns. All right, and it gets deeper than this. Okay, let's bring the UI back. All right, and up, starting from the upper left-hand corner, of course, this is the mode. If we were in standard, it would say standard in red up there. Versus AI, so it's basically going to be a bunch of human people on your team against the computer. All right, we're in a tier 5 Ismay, which is a battleship. We have 29,000 out of 143 ship XP. Ship's next victory bonus, I've already got it for today, but every ship has a victory bonus of 1.5. So you get 1.5 bonus on all things that you earn from the first battle of every ship every day. Right, then we have upgrades, in which we can go in here and get a visual of our progress to the next ship. This is what we came from, Piotr Veliki. Please don't kill me about the pronunciations of these ships. This is not English class. Then we have the Ismail, which is currently the ship we're looking at. And this is the 29,000 XP. Once we get to another 13,000, then we can unlock the next upgrade. And so on and so forth. And when we get the full 143, we will progress to the tier 6 CNOP, in which we will have to purchase at that point. When we go down here, we can look at the modules, and you can equip them as well. We go in here, the modules all cost the in-game credit to buy and install. Each mod has its own features and boosts and negatives that can enhance your ship and its playability. Right now we have aiming system mod 1 installed. This increases the firing accuracy of the main battery and secondary battery, accelerates the traverse speed of torpedo launchers, and extends the firing range of the secondary battery. That's a cool summary, but what does it really mean? It means that it's going to lessen the dispersion of the main battery. It's in green, so that means it's a good thing. Dispersion means that when you shoot your shot, of course, you're shooting a bunch of shots. Each turret, as we see, has 3 guns on it. So what that means is that we want to increase the accuracy of that shot. Dispersion means at the rate in which they separate from each other, right? I mean, of course, we want to shoot in all 3. In a perfect world, all 3 gunshots will shoot out at exactly the same propulsion and trajectory as each other, but it's realistic, so there's a dispersion. If you want to fix it, if you see your ship has bad dispersion, you want to put stuff on it that reduces the dispersion. All right. Then we have torpedo launchers traverse speed. This is the time it takes for your torpedo launchers to go around the ship. Now, once you look at this ship, we have no freaking torpedoes, so why would you use that mod? So this is one of the choices you're gonna have to make when you build out your ships. All right. Other features include secondary battery firing range, which means that it increases how far your secondary guns shoot. If we take a look at the ship, all of these little small guns, these 3 guns right here on the starboard side, the same thing goes on the port side. These 2 guns right here, these are all secondary guns, and they fire automatically at targets that get within range. So if you want, a good thing will be to increase the range of that. They don't do as much damage as the main guns, but they do damage. They do have a chance to set fire, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. All right, we have other choices here and that enhance that modify other features. Here's one specifically for the secondary battery, and it increases their range 20% and decreases their dispersion 20%, so they can reach out further and be more accurate. If that is a concern of yours, then you want to do a secondary build to your ship, then this might be something that you want to consider. Here's a AA gun mod. So all of these AA guns you see everywhere, there's 2 right on top of the main turret right there. There's about 3 right there on top of the bridge. Okay, there's some more on the conning tower right there. All of these are AA guns. All right, look at this. Look at that suite up there. That's a 360 rotation of them, you know. And then we have more suites out here. If you want them to be more accurate, more powerful, then you might want to consider using the AA mod. If you're being targeted by carrier planes and it's a real big problem, you might consider doing that. Maybe you want to just be the guy in your division that protects everybody from AA planes. There's a lot of things to consider here. Right here, we have the main battery mod 2. All right, and this basically boosts the traversal speed of the main batteries, the time it takes them to go from port to starboard and vice versa. All right, as you can see, one of the numbers here, the reload time is increased by 5%. That's a lot. Okay, but this is one of those things where you have to make a decision about. Okay, I automatically put this on there because I am a stickler for accuracy. So the dispersion really attracted me to get this. And, you know, even though I can't use the torpedo launchers, the secondary and dispersion and boost did a pretty good job. But after taking the Ismail out a couple times, I noticed that the turret traversal speed is ridiculous. As we can see on this ship right here, these aren't superpositioned. So that means that when you're facing people, you only have 1 gun, okay? And when you're kiting or running away from people, you only have 1 gun. In order to give them the full suite of the 12 guns, I have to be broadside. And so the time that it takes these turrets to turn broadside port or broadside starboard takes a long time. a ridiculously long time. So after taking her out, I suggest that you take your ships out bucket naked for the first couple times, just to feel and get a feel of what its strengths and minuses are, so you don't come in here wasting money on mods. Okay, so at this point I am going to put this on here because I'm gonna sell the other one, make some money back, and we're gonna purchase and install it for 100 grand. Got it. That's a great thing. So, but one thing you will notice is that each one of these, not these three, so to speak, we'll go through them in a second. Here's a second set of mods, the mod 2s. All right, and this basically, most of the time has to deal with steering and propulsion and damage control. All right, she floats like a brick. She maneuvers slow, she's lumbering, so I thought the rudder shift time needed some help. Damage control, this right here, there is a scheme to the Ismail's damage control. As we can see right here, we only have 4 damage control party consumables, and that is different because, as you can see, other ships have infinite damage control. So since we have 4, then having damage is a big deal. So I have to make a decision. Do I have to, the fire duration, if you minus 15%, that means you'll stay on fire. If you have 1 fire, 2 fire, it will burn out in less time. I've seen fires go from like 1 minute to 30 seconds, to 20 seconds. I'm pretty sure through a combination of builds, you can make fires like almost insignificant, but you'll have to give up a lot of other things. So fire and flooding, if I'm on fire during the game and I use one of the damage control mods, okay, then I only have 3 left. So if I can reduce the damage of fire and the duration during that time and not have to use a damage control mod, then that might be good. That's a decision that I have to make, and that's dependent on the build out of the ship and the captain. Something that I have to say that, hey, this damage control system is out of control. It needs a boost. But right now, I think that steering the ship needs a boost more than that damage control. All right. And also, there's a propulsion mod. This is different from other mods in which you'll see in a second. This is the time that it takes to reach full power. Now, you've seen some ships using this out there where they will sit broadside, and as soon as they see somebody shooting at them, they full speed ahead. They're able to accelerate out of the way of the shot that was just given. It's not a technique that I use. I'm not a big fan of it, but it does work sometimes. Not with me though. I know exactly what you're doing. As soon as I see you sitting broadside, I'm going to figure out which way you're gonna go, and I'm gonna shoot that way, and you're gonna get death struck. Anyway, coming out of here, we have enough XP points to fit another mod in here. So we're gonna go in here and we're gonna see, all right, firing range increase. So we're gonna go, it's a 10% increase. It's gonna bring it basically from 14 kilometers to 15.8. I can tell you exactly. And it's 14.7, as we can see in the middle of the screen right here. So if I equip this mod for 60 grand in credits, then I will increase my range almost, well, not almost, 1.4 kilometers, which is very good. You want to outrange people as much as possible. You know, you don't want to be in a situation where somebody can outrange you. A good example is if you're at the beginning of the game and you can see everybody, but you can't shoot anybody, but they can see you and they can shoot you because their range is better than you. Good mod to have on a battleship. Engine, not to be confused with the aforementioned engine mod, which was the speed 2 acceleration. This engine mod will give you more speed. Like right now, our top speed is 25.6 knots. If we get this upgrade, it will bring it up to 28.5. Now, this is not an important mod to me because speed in the battleship is null and void. I've grinded the American battleships like the slowest on the game, and really the speed only matters when late in the game when you're trying to get across the board or when you're trying to get out of the way of torpedoes. And if you're playing your position right in these battleships, it's more of a convenience than it is a necessity. I mean, when it comes to targeting, I'd rather have this than that if this is the only mod that we can have. And of course, the Hull B mod will give you more XP points. This will give us 55 at the moment. We have 51,000. With this upgrade, we will have 55, almost 56, which is good. But me myself in my school of practice, I don't plan on getting hit anyway. Of course, I will always get hit in the game, but if I'm doing my job right, I shouldn't need more HP. So this will be normally one of the last things I put on the ship. Okay, so I'm gonna go with the firing range at this point, right? So, and when we purchase, now we can boost up. I can use my global XP right now to boost up this, or I can play the game and use global XP flags or boosts to get this far. XP boost, ship XP boost, and we'll go over that a little bit later. And get this and unlock this mod right now. And as you can see, when we go in here, I press A to get in here. We have a choice of these last two. All right. So the next one will probably be engine for me. Oh, it doesn't matter. Both of these are the same importance. These are the only ones where you can only, I can only choose from this set, one of these sets right here, or one of these sets right here, for this. All right. And if we press another thing that people can look at is if I want to look at the CNOP right now, I can press the A button. I can hold it and see what we're going to get into. And this is that bad girl. See, she has one less turret. We see that by the time the ship came out, superposition turrets were a thing. Can't wait for that. And this is a tier 6 ship. It has its own AA suite, its own. It's a whole nother ship with all other upgrades. We can get here right now with global XP. All right. Come back here, we hit the right bumper and we can get basically a summarization of our capabilities. Right here, we have HE, high explosive shells, AP, armor piercing shells. What is the difference? This is probably the most important thing you need to understand. A lot of people like to say, which one is better? But it is all situational. Everything in this game, you cannot do it according 1, 2, 3, ABC. You can have your own discipline or set of rules that you work by that work best for you. That's going to change depending on what type of ship you use. Going to change what type of situation you're in. HE, high explosive shells. Let's go over. HE shells explode on contact with the surface. They have significant damage dealing potentials with a high probability of causing fire or incapacitating modules. Reload time 34.6 seconds. Maximum HE shell damage is 5,200. Fire setting chances 38%. Firing range 16.1. All right, we just went from 14 to 16. So that's a good thing. All right, HE shells, they explode on contact with the surface, and this particular ship has a 38% chance of setting them on fire. All right. When we go over to armor piercing shells, let's read it. Armor piercing shells. AP shells penetrate armor and explode inside the ship, causing significant damage to combat departments. The fuse arms if the armor is thick enough. If the armor is not thick enough, the shells will over penetrate, causing significantly less damage. over penetrate, causing significantly less damage, is the overstatement of the year. Throughout this game, you're going to learn that some ships have thin armor and you're going to get overpins and you're going to get overpins. You're not overpins. When you get an over penetration, that means the shell goes basically through the ship without exploding. And that's what armor piercing shells do. They break through the armor. They just imagine it. They break through the armor. They land inside the ship and they blow up. Just think about how much damage that can cause. You think about battleships and how armored they are and how useful that can be. And at the same time, you have to see battleships aren't the only ships you'll be fighting against. You'll be fighting against lighter armored ships, such as cruisers, such as destroyers, well, where these armor-piercing shells would just fly straight through them. And armor, when you get an overpin, you get like 10% of the damage you would have caused. As you can see, the max AP damage here is 10,500, which is way over what these HE shells cause. Now, this does not explain that once you set someone on fire with a high explosive shell, they constantly get damaged over time, kind of like poison in RPGs. All right. So the way to combat fires is to use the what? The damage con. Okay. So if you know that I only have 4, you might want to use HP against me a lot. If you know that my armor scheme is pretty thick, you might want to use HE. Or if you know your guns can beat my armor scheme, you might want to use AP. Okay, if somebody is angling towards you and you notice that your AP shells are just bouncing off the ship, then you probably need to go to HE to cause some damage. Somebody is broadside to you, then you probably might want to switch to AP. Your brain is going to have to do some work. You're going to have to understand what situation you're in. You're going to have to understand what kind of guns you're using. You're going to have to understand what kind of ship you're shooting at in order to make this decision. This is not an A or B situation, because there's like 101 situations you'll find yourself where you need to switch. One example, you're a battleship and you see a destroyer encroaching. You shoot AP at them, you're going to shoot straight through them and you're going to do significantly less damage. But if you shoot high explosives, you're going to do more damage and you have a chance to set them on fire. Okay? Fires and floods are deadly to destroyers. They have to use their damage con right away. Even though they have unlimited damage con, there's a reload time. See, the reload time for this ship is 40 seconds before I can use it again. So if we go out, let's look at somebody else's. All right. The reload time for this is 38 seconds. A 38-second flood on a destroyer who has 17,000 hit points can be deadly. Okay. So we'll talk a little bit about that later when we get to the gameplay. So moving right along, going down to consumables. Here is the damage con consumable. If I get on fire or if I get a flood, I'm going to hit this. And what they're going to do is they're going to send a party of guys down there to put the fire out, put the flood out. Because flooding is going to cause a lot of damage. Fire is going to cause a lot of damage. Flooding more than fire. Flooding will cause way more damage in a quicker time than fires will. And that also depends on if you have any perks or skills on that can reduce that. We saw one earlier. All right. One thing about the Ismail is that I don't have an unlimited amount of fire. I only have 4. And people who have the knowledge that only have 4 may want to use that against me. Okay. And this is one reason why you want to come in here and study as many ships as you can, because then you can find their weaknesses. Repair parties only have 2. Well, let's go over it. Consumable duration, and that means 11 seconds. That means that they're going to be down there for 11 seconds, which means basically you're not going to be able to take any floods or any fires for the next 11 seconds. Now, after those 11 seconds, it's going to take 40 seconds for you to reload the damage control party, which means for this next 40 seconds, you're going to be vulnerable to floods and fire. So this means that you need to come up with a strategy, because if you catch one fire and there's torpedoes on the way, you don't want to use one of your precious damage cons, even if you have unlimited, because there's a reload time. If you put out the fire, you get hit by the torpedoes, you're gonna have to wait 40 seconds before you can reload it again. And they call it a permafire in some cases, where you're gonna have to take 40 seconds of damage. You're just gonna have to take it, or you're gonna have to just burn out, or wait till the fire burns itself out. Not a very good situation. So one fire, you might want to just kind of like wait and see what happens. I like to, in my cases, I will let it burn about 10 to 25% of light damage, and then put it out and then repair the light damage just in case. Sometimes you might want to hit it right away. If you're passing an island and nobody can shoot you anymore, yes, hit it right away. It's situation. All right. And next, repair party, not to be confused with the damage con. Repair party repairs the light damage. The light damage we'll talk about later, which is your HP is basically yellow. The light damage is the damage that you can recover, and it will be in like light green. Okay, so you'll see that your HP goes down a certain amount, and you'll go look at it and you'll see you'll have another green bar behind it. That's how much damage you can repair. The way we have it set up right now is doing 329 HP per second, and it is live for 22.4 seconds, which means it will keep repairing as much light damage as it can, 329 per second. So my math is right. It's about 7,000. You can regain 7,000 HP by using this. The reload time is 80 seconds. So it's going to be 80 seconds until you can use this again, and you only have 2. When you run out, you can no longer use them. All right. Moving on to enhanced secondary targeting. This is a consumable. Lower dispersion and improve the shell grouping of your secondary armament. Once we get to our range with our secondaries are going off. We can use this consumable, and it will enhance their accuracy, the grouping 100%, the dispersion will bring it down 50%, and the duration will be 30 seconds. For 30 seconds, your secondaries are going to go wild. And the reload time of this consumable is 160 seconds. So you can't use it again for maybe like 2.5 minutes, maybe 3. All right. And the number of these we get is 3. I'm not a big secondary guy, but it looks as though this ship, and I'm new to this, Ismail. Okay. As you can see, we're going through this live. I'm not a big secondary guy. I don't really do secondary builds, but there are guys that do secondary builds, and some secondary builds are very lethal. That's crazy. I've seen videos where people have gotten over 100k damage with just using the secondary. We've done some in community night where we've gotten 50k damage without firing one shot at each other. That is bananas. So yeah, and these secondary guns fire HE. So yes, they can give you a chance at getting somebody on fire. Imagine you're rolling with AP and shooting HE at the same time. But this is only within close range, because secondaries only activate on this particular ship at 4 kilometers. Bismarck and other ones that I've seen up to 10, 12 kilometer secondaries, which is bananas, because when you get to around 10 kilometers, this is like the normal distance. 10 to 15 kilometers is like battle range. So if you can get in close to somebody with 10 kilometers, you're shooting AP every 30 seconds. Your secondaries are going off with your enhanced secondary targeting. You can cause a great big mess to people who are within 10 kilometers in your range in your secondary. So that's just something to keep in mind. Boosters. These are ship boosters that can enhance your features or, you know, your after battle economy. For example, the Epic Ship XP booster, this boosts the ship XP in your progress here. So if you come out and you made 7,000 in XP, this is going to give you 14,000 if you have this ship equipped, if you have this flag equipped. Commander XP, this boosts your Commander XP if you get it. 1 star gives you 50, 2 stars 100, 3 stars 200. Global XP boost. 1 gives you 100% bonus, 2 200%, and 3 400% in XP. Global XP, which is very good. If you're trying to buy a ship or something like that, you should always have one of these. Now, the good thing about it is that if you don't have the flags that you want, you can always convert them by pressing X. So for every 4 flags that I have, I can make 2 2-star flags. Press the A button. That's what I want to do. All right. For every 3, I can make 1 3-star. Only play with 3 stars. So if I'm gonna put flags up here or boosters up here, they're always gonna be 3. All right, we have the credit booster. 3 will give you 40% more. I'm gonna take these. 1 stars for suckers. All right. And these are, again, part of those rewards that you get for achieving missions in battle. All right. Battle boosters are something different. This is something I didn't know right off the bat. These affect performance. The 1, so the 2, whatever you want to call this, the common battle one gives you 3% maximum movement speed. The rare one gives you movement speed plus a -5 on reloading your consumables. So now, instead of taking 160 seconds, it's going to take like 120 or something. No, the math is probably off right there, but I'm not about to do that math. All right, and then the third one boosts the range of your main guns. So if I put this one on, let me see if it reflects. I don't know if it really. All right, look at that, 16.6 is the firing range of them right now. Let's see if it reflects. Let me take this off. Back down to 16.1. You see that? And please believe me, that 0.6 will, that extra 0.5% will help. It'll help. All right. And you know, I don't always use 3. You don't have to do this, but I think that range, that boosting range is more important than all the rest of them. So I don't care about movement speed. I don't really care about an extra 1 or 2 seconds in consumables reloading, but more range, I'll always take that. You always want to take that. Flag, this is more of a cosmetic thing, and they do different flags for different, you know, events. This duck flag right now, I got this from playing Duck of War, which was kind of like an arena mode. Pretty cool to me. Play with like with little toy ships in a tub, in a bathtub. I thought it was cool, you know, but I guess not a lot of people made it. People who played that event got this flag. Friendship, I got this from a friend. Shout out to Slotchy Christine. This is from this current campaign that's going on now, 2-year anniversary. I got this one with the Venom, and I got this one on the 1 year. So really doesn't matter, just cosmetic. Fly on it. There's a whole bunch more that I don't have and I probably won't get. Camouflage. Camouflage is more than cosmetic, as we can see right now. If we pick one of these right here, it will give me negative 0.5 on sea detectability range. So if they can only see me from so far away, this is gonna take about negative 4.5 away from that. So I could be negative 4.5 further away. Some of these do something different. Incoming fire dispersion. So if somebody's shooting at you, it's gonna increase their fire dispersion with 4.5. Some of them have both. And the good thing that you can do about this is that you can take one of the camos and turn them into a permanent camo. I've turned this one right here into a 2-stage, which gives me incoming fire dispersion, and I can bring it up to 3-stage, but I need, if you look down at the bottom, I need 250 paints. And what you can do to make paint is you can press or melt it. You can take this and we could bring that all the way up to there. 61 is going to give me 181, but I don't want to give that up. So I'm going to wait. Also, notice that if you press the right button, you can go to other exotic paints you see here that I've earned through the years. So these are one use. So if you put them on there after one battle, they're going to be gone. But you see, if I had 12 of these, I can turn them into a 1-stage permanent paint, and it will be on there for each time. At this point, I'm going to put on, you know, I never seen this paint right here, the Santa. Let's see what it looks like. Ew, it's ugly as hell. That's not bad. Me, you know, I'm realistic, man. I'm not trying to be out there. I'm not trying to stick out. A big red ship would just make somebody want to shoot you more, you know? It's not bad, though. This is not bad. I might put this on the Synop. I don't know. But it will not go on this one. And I don't have enough to make one anyway. So I already have one. So let's put that on there and let's see what that looks like. That's better. Looks like a big old sea cow. And plus it's, you know, a lot better than going out there in that drab gray. Couldn't stand that, man.